Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's Pokemon Go video, I'm going to be going over the best legendary Pokemon to raid during Pokemon Go Fest Day 2. This has definitely been a highly requested video as of lately, so I hope you all appreciate this breakdown. As always, before we go ahead and get started with this video, if you end up finding it helpful and informative, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button down below. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to go over is that you have to decide what you want the most. There's three main categories that I wanted to focus on: shiny hunting, PvP, and then raid/gym attackers. These are going to be the three most important factors when it comes down to picking your legendaries that you want to focus on. Because there are so many legendary Pokemon that are going to be available during Day 2 of GoFest, you really have to strategize what you ultimately want the most. So hopefully by the end of this video, you can kind of figure out, or at least have a better idea in terms of what you actually want to focus on. So Pokemon GoFest Day 2 is going to be broken down into 4 different cycles going through twice: Wind Hour, Lava Hour, Frost Hour, and Thunder Hour. So the first thing that I want to go over out of the 3 main categories that I talked about is going to be shiny Pokemon. So let's start off with Wind Hour. The shiny Pokemon available during Wind Hour are going to be Mewtwo, Latios, Latios, Regigigas, Giratina Altered Form, Cresselia, and Virizion. Now in regards to Mewtwo, this is probably the only Pokemon that I wouldn't really focus on during GoFest Day 2 because it's already going to be available in raids outside of GoFest, so there isn't really an incentive to raid this during GoFest when you have all these other legendary Pokemon. Everything else though, fair game. So moving on over to Lava Hour, we're going to have Moltres, Entei, Regirock, Groudon, Heatran, and Terrakion. Next up we have Frost Hour, we're going to have Articuno, Suicune, Lugia, Regice, Kyogre, and that's actually about it. Moving on over to Thunder Hour as our last rotation cycle, we're going to have Zapdos, Raikou, Registeel, Rayquaza, and Cobalion. And so those are going to be all the legendary Pokemon that are going to be available to shiny hunt during this respective day. So for those of you that are going to be shiny hunting, you definitely have a lot of potential out there. And I believe the shiny rate for legendary Pokemon is 1 out of 19 from raid battles, so yeah, best of luck. Moving on over to category number 2, we're going to talk about PvP Pokemon. So for Great League, there isn't really too many options here. The only ones that you essentially have is going to be Registeel and Cresselia. And for Cresselia, you actually catch it above 1500 CP, so you're going to have to trade with a friend and try to get below 1500 CP. Now, I wouldn't really recommend focusing on Cresselia. If you want to go for Registeel, totally fair game. But to be honest, it's going to be tough to roll Cresselia under 1500 CP after doing some trades. Not to mention, it doesn't come with Grass Knot, so you're going to have to use an Elite TM, and that's not the most appealing, to be honest. If we take a look at Ultra League, though, we definitely have some pretty good options here, so let me go through them. So I went ahead and input everything on PV Poke, and this is going to be in the Open Ultra League. So you can see here that Registeel is going to be the number 1, Cresselia number 2, Giratina Altered number 8, Regirock number 10, Articuno number 15, Regice number 21, and Lugia number 27 in the league respectively. So all these legendary Pokemon definitely have a really solid standing in Open Ultra League. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Master League. This is going to be Master League Classic, by the way, so no extra large candy required for this. So first off, you're going to have Groudon. Again, Fire Punch is going to be Legacy moveset. Next up, you're going to have Lugia at number 4, Aeroblast also Legacy moveset. Number 6 is going to be Dialga. Number 7, Ho-Oh, Earthquake is a Legacy moveset. Number 8 is going to be Zekrom. Number 12 is going to be Mewtwo. Psystrike is a Legacy moveset, as well as Shadow Ball. Number 13 is going to be Palkia. Number 17 is going to be Reshiram. Number 21, Giratina Altered. Number 25, we're going to have Landorus in its Therian form. And then number 32 is going to be Kyogre. And then for you crazy people out there who like to participate in Master League Open, well, you got Lugia over there at number 1, Dialga number 3, Ho-Oh and number 5. Number 6 is going to be Zekrom, number 7 Mewtwo, number 10 Reshiram, number 16 Landorus Therian form, number 18 Giratina Altered, number 20 Groudon, number 21 Palkia, and then number 31 Kyogre. I really don't expect that many players to participate in Open Master League, and if you do actually participate in Open Master League, let me know in the comment section down below. But keep in mind, for Master League, you're going to want to have Hundo versions, 100% IV versions of these Pokemon. So it doesn't really make too much sense that you're probably going to roll those odds during GoFest Day 2. I'm not saying it's impossible, but yeah, it's kind of unlikely. If anything, guys, I would say just focus on the Ultra League Pokemon for the most part. So with shiny hunting and PvP out of the way, we can finally focus on the raid/gym meta. And in my opinion, I think many players are going to focus on this aspect of the game, just because we haven't had some of these Pokemon in a really long time. So when it comes down to the Wind Hour, there isn't really anything special in my opinion, nothing that really breaks the meta. Mewtwo is available, but again, we're already going to have Mewtwo in raids, so I don't really recommend focusing on Mewtwo. Now when it comes down to the Lava Hour though, we do have some pretty good candidates here. So the ones that really stood out to me are going to be Reshiram, going to be the top fire type attacker, Terrakion, really good rock type attacker, and Yveltal, really solid dark type attacker. You also have legendary Pokemon like Groudon, Landorus Therian form, and Moltres, but in my opinion, I wouldn't really focus on these. The reason I don't really recommend focusing on Groudon or Landorus is because we just had Gible Community Day, so I expect most of you to actually have some decent Garchomp available currently, which is definitely a solid ground type attacker. You don't really need Groudon or Landorus at this point in my opinion. And when it comes down to Moltres, Moltres is great as a fire type attacker, but Reshiram is much better. Shadow Moltres is a completely different story, but Moltres as a flying type attacker is great. The downside is that you're going to have to use an Elite TM on it, and so those are going to be the reasons that I don't really recommend focusing on those Pokemon. Previously, they were definitely solid. I could not tell you how many times I probably recommended to raid for Moltres in the past, but with Reshiram available in raids, definitely focus on that one. And then when it comes down to the Frost Tower, the only one that really stands out to me is going to be Kyogre. Definitely a great Pokemon to raid for. Kyogre is still top of the water meta. And then of course when we come down to Thunder Hour, this is actually where we have a decent amount of good Pokemon to raid for. So Zekrom is going to be your go-to when it comes down for the electric type attackers. Really solid Pokemon. We haven't had this in raids too often. Raikou is also going to be another really solid option, but if you can, I would definitely focus on Zekrom over Raikou. And then we have some more dragons here as well. We have Rayquaza and Dialga. Both of these are respectively good dragon type attackers. So Rayquaza is definitely one of the top dragon type attackers in Pokemon Go, and it will benefit from a mega form in the future. Dialga is a dragon and steel type Pokemon, which means that it resists a ton of stuff. I kid you not, like Dialga is one of the tankiest Pokemon when it comes down to raids, and it also deals a ridiculous amount of damage. I would say the biggest downside to Dialga over Rayquaza is that Dialga doesn't have access to Outrage, whereas Rayquaza does. Dialga unfortunately only has access to Draco Meteor, which takes a ton of energy to charge up, so that is kind of the downside there, but overall Rayquaza or Dialga definitely two go-to options. In my opinion though, I would actually focus on Dialga more over Rayquaza. We've actually gotten Rayquaza back in raids a few times now, so I expect some of you to actually have it. Dialga has been missing for like a really long time, so I would definitely take advantage, get some candy, hopefully get a really good IV spread, maybe even a hundo, and you'll be golden. And then when it comes down to the other Pokemon, I mean, you do have Thundurus in its Therian form. That is definitely a possibility to raid for, but we just had this Pokemon like not that long ago, maybe a few months ago in raids, so I expect some of you to have already gotten that Pokemon. And again, Zekrom is definitely better. The biggest benefit to Zekrom and Dialga is that they both have functionality as top tier raid attackers as well as Master League Pokemon, so you really do benefit from a win-win scenario there. And I guess you could say from the Frost Tower, Palkia also kind of falls into this category. It is a really good raid attacker as a dragon type Pokemon. It has the dragon and water typing, which definitely gives it a good resistance to a lot of Pokemon. And of course it has functionality in Master League, so you know, with all these Pokemon, Kyogre, Palkia, Zekrom, Dialga, you have functionality in both raids as well as PvP. But in my honest opinion, I'm not the biggest fan of Master League. Even if I did have hundos of everything, it's just a big game of rock, paper, scissors, whereas Great League and Ultra League have a lot more functionality and a lot more spice, which I do enjoy. I like kind of running into different teams, not the same teams over and over again, which is definitely Master League at this point. And so that's going to be it for the raid category. Now that we've covered all three categories, hopefully this has given you a better idea in terms of what you want to prioritize for during day 2 of GoFest. And if I didn't already mention this during the video, you don't actually need to have a GoFest ticket in order to raid these legendary Pokemon. Some people were getting confused about this, so I just wanted to highlight that right there. But if you do get a GoFest ticket, you're going to get access to 21 raid passes. You're going to get 11 remote raid passes, and you're going to get 10 free passes, the orange passes, I guess you could say. So for the remote raid passes, in order to get them, you're going to get them from completing timed research throughout GoFest. Additionally, you're also going to get 3 from the event box in the store. Now remember, you can only have up to 5 remote raid passes in your inventory at one time, so you won't be able to collect any more until you actually use up the ones that you currently have. And so in order to actually use up all 10 of the orange passes, you're going to have to go through them individually one by one. Basically, as soon as you use a one up, just go ahead and spin a gym stop again, you're going to get another free orange pass, and you're going to do that up to 10 times. And then finally, the last thing that I want to kind of talk about here is going to be my recent guide on how to remote raid easily in Pokemon Go. So this video is a full in-depth guide on how to not only build really good battle teams for the raid battles, but also how to join and host remote raid battles in Pokemon Go and actually get decent people to help you take it down. Reliable people with good counters, I should say. So definitely make sure to check out that video if you guys have not done so already. I highly recommend it. It is seriously a game changer, especially if you don't have people in your local area that want to do raid battles. Let's say, for example, you run into a Reshiram raid locally and you don't have anybody else around you to help you raid it. You could just go ahead and host a raid, you'll get really good people really fast, and you'll be able to take it down just like that. And then one final tip that I want to leave you guys with for those of you that made it this far into the video is to manage your grind time effectively. So you might be wondering what I mean by this. So the wild spawns on day 2 are phenomenal. Like last year during day 2 of GoFest, the wild spawns were crazy good. And this is because they don't follow the habitat rotation like they do on day 1. They're just going to be spawning all over the place, so you really have to decide what's going to be worth it for you when it comes down to raiding and then also hunting for shinies respectively, or hunting for good Pokemon in the wild. You're definitely going to want to take advantage of a mix of both, to be honest. At least that's what I would do personally, so that is my recommendation to you. And for everything that spawns in the wild, you don't even have to have access to a GoFest ticket, so that's pretty amazing as well. Again, divide up your time, strategize what you want to do in terms of the raids. Like I said earlier on, if you're focused on the gym/raid meta, the Wind Hour and the Frost Hour are going to be kind of mediocre, especially the Wind Hour, just because there isn't really too much to raid unless you're going for shinies. You can definitely take advantage of that time to focus on wild hunting, and then once it rotates to Lava Hour and then respectively to Thunder Hour, you could focus on the raids, rotate in between Frost Hour and Wind Hour, kind of focus on wild hunting. And to be honest, if you guys just want a remote raid, you can just use Pokegenie and it's just really straightforward. You don't even have to do it during your event window, and you can focus on the wild spawns if you want to. The Pokemon that I'm going to be focusing on is going to be Reshiram and Zekrom, most definitely, and probably Dialga as well. So again, let me know what you're going to be focusing on in the comment section down below. I will have a full analysis video of GoFest coming soon, maybe in the next day or two, depends on how long it takes me to put that one together. That one is pretty detailed. Anyways though, that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you all did find it helpful and informative. As always, if you could hit that like button down below, I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button as well. And I will see you all real soon in the next one.